If you are seeing this sigil, this is your blind spot. The number is 78. Self-preservation disguised as self-sabotage. So if you're seeing the sigil, you or someone in your surroundings is in a situation, is actively engaged in self-sabotage. But you, and potentially they, are unaware that the part of you or them that is doing the sabotaging is convinced it is preserving you or them. Unless you fully understand the perspectives and motives of this part that is doing the sabotaging with understanding and compassion, you will stay stuck relative to the situation. Here are some examples of sabotage, all right? And these are things which we develop in a moment, like procrastination, holding on to addictions, doing things that push someone away while professing that we want a relationship to work, you know? Self-sabotage is essentially thoughts, words, and actions, like behaviors that are self-defeating. They work against you when it comes to attaining something that you want. Consciousness can and does split itself. This means that even though we call ourselves by one name and therefore identify ourselves as being one unified thing, you know, even if you have nicknames and things like that, the reality is that we are more of an anomaly of fragments, parts of ourselves, so like different pieces of ourselves. We are more like a mosaic or a stained glass window. Our degree of internal suffering is about the degree of harmony or lack of between these internal selves. Do the fragments get along? Do they make a lovely picture? Or do they make something that people are looking at the art and just can't understand it, right? If you are expressing self-sabotage, it is because not all of your internal selves or parts of selves agree with your conscious desires. One or more of them is resisting or opposing the parts that contain your conscious desires. So they're fighting. If any of your internal parts or selves is resisting or in opposition with your desires, or if any of them is hurting other parts of you, right? In any way, it is because they think it is in your best interest for them to do so. In other words, they believe they are saving your life by not going along with the plan. For this reason, you cannot say that they are against you. They just don't agree with the rest of you and about how to be for you. Here are some examples. We have some things to do, but we procrastinated. In this scenario, one fragment or part within us, the one we are consciously identified with, has made a decision to do something. The other part thinks that doing that thing will lead to discomfort or some kind of pain. Therefore, it is trying to prevent you from experiencing the pain by keeping you from doing from it. Procrastination, right? We hold on to, number two, we hold on to addictions like binge eating or drinking. In this scenario, one part, the one we are consciously identified with, right? As Jack, Mary, Sue, Taekwon, Shaniqua, Mimi, whatever, has decided it is committed to stop the addiction, right? But the other part believes that the life that you want is not actually possible to achieve. And so it thinks that letting go of the addiction will simply make it so you are in hell alone and now have to just sit in the agony of that miserably, permanently. It would rather you have the drug instead. Number three, let's think about this. Consciously, we really want a relationship to work, right? But we keep pushing the other person away, pushing them away, or doing insane things to create conflict in a relationship, to sabotage a relationship. In this scenario, one fragment within us, which is the one that we consciously identify with, has made the decision to be in a relationship and make it work, right? Right. Another part knows that the relationship have been so painful in the past, and that it has been abandoned, and therefore thinks abandonment is inevitable. So it is trying to save you from the pain of getting attached to someone you are inevitably going to lose. You consciously want a job, number 4, but you suddenly say things in an interview that makes the boss check you off his list of candidates. In this scenario, one part of you has decided the best idea is to work at the job. The other part thinks that the job is not what you should be doing, that it is in the opposite direction of your authentic essence. Therefore, life will be like drudgery and effort if you take that job. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, life will be like, you'll be dreading life and effort if you take that job. Okay? So, number 5, self-hate. Obviously, self-hate is the exception to the rule. Right? Think again. When you discover the parts involved in self-hate, what you find is that a person internalizes their external abuser. Essentially, one part feels that by hating and punishing, and therefore trying to get another part to change, it is preventing them from getting that hate, disapproval, shaming, and punishment from the other side, from another person. By doing so, it is trying to get the person the love they so desperately need from the other side. So, if you've seen the Sigil, number 78, you are being called, to remember that, metaphorically speaking, what any form of sabotage always has in common is that one part thinks the answer to a good life and happiness is going left, and another part thinks that going left is literally the road to ruin your existence, your life, your plans, etc. But what you must see is that both parts actually have your best interest at heart, right? You have to understand that no part within a person is actually against them. In order to create any improvement, you need to approach the issue at hand with this understanding in order to create alignment between these opposing parts. Okay? So use compassion, use empathy within yourself. Okay? When you approach these ideas, when you approach these decisions, when you approach these situations and issues at hand, okay? And just to understand what's going on in order to create an alignment between the different parts of you. Have a wonderful day and night for this shadow work reading.